Some people will be removed. Was removed from the meeting. No. Yes. Yes. Now I'll start. So the necklace by Guy de Maupassant, and you see we had just started with the chapter, and now we will go to the chapter. Now Matilda and Madame Loisel, they are these two characters. Matilda or Madame Loisel is one name, and her husband is the other character. So we find that Matilda is invited to a grand party. She has a beautiful dress but no jewelry. She borrows a necklace from a friend and loses it. What happens after that is a story. Okay, so we find that 16 students, 16, 1 6. Out of 25, only 1 6. Joined tested, accepted. They are trying, they are not able to switch over. So they are, I mean, that switching account, they are having some issues. So they will slowly come up, I believe. Yes, sir. Yes, children. So now we find that Matilda is invited to a grand party. Now, what happens? Now, you see, she was one of those pretty young ladies born as if through an error of destiny into a family of clerks. She had no dowry, no hopes, no means of becoming known, loved, and married by a man either rich or distinguished. And she allowed herself to marry a pretty clerk, petty clerk in the office of the Board of Education. She was simple, but she was unhappy. So we find that she was a young, pretty lady, and error of destiny means by fate. That is, it is a fate that she's born in a poor family. She did not have enough money for dowry, so she had to get married to a petty clerk in an office. Petty clerk means again a small clerk. She suffered incessantly, feeling herself born for all delicacies and luxuries, and she suffered from the poverty of her apartment. So she expected that she should have been born in a very rich family, but unfortunately she had been born in a poor family. So she suffered from the poverty of her apartment. Poverty of her apartment, the shabby walls and the worn chairs. So if you are living in a, if you belong to a poor family, naturally your house also will be poor. Now, shabby wall and worn chairs means the chairs and all were not well furnished. All these things tortured and angered her. All of them angered her. When she seated herself for dinner opposite her husband, who uncovered the terrain with a delighted air, saying, "Oh, the good pot pie! I know nothing better than that." She would think of elegant dinners, of shining silver. She thought of exquisite food served in marvelous dishes. She had neither frocks nor jewels, nothing. And she loved only things, those things. Now, what happened? When she seated herself for dinner, she sat for dinner, okay? She sat for dinner. So she thought that if it is a rich house, how nice silver vessels will be there, how nice dishes will be there, your paneer curry and your tandoori and naan every day you have. All that she imagined. So what is the word the writer is using? Exquisite food served in marvelous dishes. So she was thinking that if she had born in a rich family, she would have been lucky. She had a rich friend, very rich friend, a schoolmate. A schoolmate is a person who studies with you in a school, but in a different class, or and at the convent, who she did not like to visit. She suffered so much when she returned. She wept for whole days from despair and disappointment. So she had a rich friend, and this girl was very poor. So she was feeling very sorry and felt hopeless and disappointed, upset, very angry. One evening, her husband returned, elated, bearing in his hand a large envelope. What did he have? A large envelope. Here, he said, here's something for you. So he said, there's something for you, just see. She quickly drew out a printed card on which was inscribed these words. So the invitation was like this: the Minister of Public Instruction and Madame George Ramponia asked the honor of M. and Madame Loisel's company Monday evening, January 18th, at the Minister's residence. Instead of being delighted as her husband had hoped, she threw the invitation. So her husband was expecting that she would be delighted. Delighted means she will be very happy. Instead of that, what did she do? She threw the invitation. What do you want? What do you suppose I want with that? What do you think you want me to do with that? She got very angry. Are you able to follow, children? So we find that she was not happy even with the invitation that she got from a very for a grand party. Okay, after this class, I will be conducting a test. So please be careful and note down the points that you are listening. But my dear, I thought it would make you happy. You never go out, and this is an occasion and a fine one. You never go out. You're always at home. And now it's a wonderful occasion. Yes, we'll go. Everybody wishes one, and it is very select. Only selective people are called for this party. It's from the ministry. Not many are given to employees. You will see the whole official world there. So only few people have been called, and you please come and see the official world. Look at the officers, the ministers. She looked at him with an irritated eye and declared impatiently. Means irritated eye means almost with tears, anger. What do you suppose I have to wear to such a thing as that? What will I wear? What dress I have? He had not thought of that. He stammered. Why? The dress you wear when we go out to the theatre. It seems very pretty too. So normally what do? We have good dresses for good occasions. So maybe when they go to theatre, they wear a good one. He said, yes, you have a good dress. Why don't you wear that good dress which we wear to theatre? He was silent, stupefied in dismay. Stupefied means make someone unable to think properly. He was not able to think. In dismay, he was so concerned, and he was in, of course, distress. So he was not able to see. He became quiet. At the sight of his wife weeping, he stammered, "What is the matter? What is the matter?" By a violent effort, she had controlled her vexation and responded in a calm voice. Vexation means she controlled her anger. In foreign, they don't express the anger like how we express. How I burst out sometimes when I get angry. No such emotions are found there. Even if they are angry, they keep quiet and they speak in a very calm voice. Nothing. Only I have no dress, and consequently I cannot go to this affair. Give your card to some colleague whose wife is better fitted out than I. In a calm voice, in a soft voice, she explains. He was grieved, but answered, "Let us see, Matilda. How much would a suitable costume cost? Something that would serve for other occasions, something very simple. So poor husband was so nice. He said, Matilda, please just see, we'll find for a suitable costume. And she said, what will it cost? She reflected for some seconds, means she was thinking for some seconds, thinking of a sum that could ask for without bringing with it immediate refusal and frightened exclamation from the economical clerk. Economic frightened exclamation means somewhat frightened. What? What was the amount? Finally she said, oh, in a hesitating voice, in a slow voice, she said, I cannot tell exactly, but it seems to me that 400 francs ought to cover it. He turned a little pale. Now 400 francs means now that is French currency, and says, now what was he saying? He turned a little pale, for he had saved just the sum to buy a gun. Why did he save the money? To buy a gun, that he might be able to join some hunting parties to the next summer with some friends who went shoot larks on Sundays. So larks is again a game. They went to fight, they went to shoot. So he thought, okay, summer holidays, he will just go to join along with his friends. He'll go and he will do shooting. So he wanted a gun. He wanted to purchase a gun. Nevertheless, he answered, very well, I will give you 400 francs, but try to have a pretty dress. He told, yes, I've tried to have a pretty dress. I'll give you my money, 400 francs, and I'll give you buy a pretty dress. The day of the ball approached, and Madame Loisel seemed sad, disturbed, anxious. Nevertheless, her dress was nearly ready. Her husband said to her one evening, what did he say? Said to one evening, what is the matter with you? You have acted strangely for 2-3 days. Now dress is ready. Again she is worried. She's anxious. She's so disturbed. What's the matter? Why are you behaving so strangely? And she responded, I am vexed not to have a jewel, nothing to adorn myself. I shall have such a poverty-stricken look. I would prefer not to go to this party. She told, if I'm not wearing a jewel, people will think that I'm poverty stricken. I don't have enough money. I come from a poor family. Oh no, I cannot go to the party without a jewel. He replied, you can wear some natural flowers in the season. They look very thick. You can have some nice garland, fresh flowers. She was not convinced. No, she replied. There's nothing more humiliating than to have a shabby air in the midst of rich women. All the rich women will be wearing nice dresses and coming. And you expect me to go in flowers? Oh no, it will look so shabby. Shabby means unorganized or not good looking. Then her husband cried out, how stupid we are. Go and find out your friend, Ma'am Forstier, and ask her to lend you her jewels. She uttered a cry of joy. It's true, she said. I had not thought of that. Yes, now. So her husband reminded that she can approach her friend, a rich friend whom she knew in her convent. So she will be giving, she can lend you one. Lend you means for some time, for a period of time. You just ask her, you want for the party, she'll give you. Okay, that is the meaning of lend. Oh, the next day, so she was so happy. I had not thought of that. The next day, she took herself to her friend's house and related the story of distress. So she went to her friend's house and said, "Oh, this is a thing." Madame Forestier went to her closet. Okay, closet is a things for the place where you arrange all your jewels or all your clothes or all your dresses. Took out a large jewel case. Jewel case means jewel box. Brought it, opened it, and said, "Choose, my dear." She saw at first some bracelets, then a collar of pearls, then a Venetian cross of gold and jewels and admirable workmanship. She tried the jewels before the glass, hesitated, but could neither decide to take them nor leave them. Then she asked, "Have you nothing more?" She saw all the jewels. She's very ambitious. Or she's not like coordination, she'll not compromise with whatever she gets. She told, "Have you nothing more? That's all? You don't have anything more?" She asked. Her friend was really very generous. "Why, yes, look for yourself. I do not know what will please you." You're saying, "Oh, you're not satisfied all these things and you want something else." Suddenly she discovered in a black satin box a superb necklace of diamonds. Her hands trembled as she took it out. So she liked it, and you see, she was trembling, shaking, and shivering. She took it out. She placed it about her throat against her dress and was ecstatic, very happy and thrilled. She asked in a hesitating voice full of anxiety, "Could you lend me this? Only this?" "Why, yes, certainly." She was so happy to select that diamond jewelry. She fell upon the neck of her friend, embraced her with passion, then went away with her treasure. She thanked her friend, Madame Forcier, and she went away with the treasure, the necklace. The day of the ball arrived, and Madame Loisel was a great success. She was the prettiest of all, elegant, gracious, smiling, and full of joy. All the men noticed her, asked her name, and wanted to be presented. See, all of them were so happy to see her. The men were also asking, look at the words. She was the prettiest of all. She was elegant, she was gracious, she was smiling, and she was full of joy, very happy. All the men also noticed her. She danced with enthusiasm, intoxicated with pleasure means so much of pleasure she had, completely, highly influenced with happiness, thinking of nothing but and all this admiration, this victory so complete and sweet to heart. It was a heart victory to heart, so happy. She thought, of course, the dress and her jewel had made her victorious. And now what happened? She went home towards 4 o'clock in the morning. Her husband had been half asleep in one of the little saloons since midnight with three other gentlemen whose wives were enjoying themselves very much. So this gentleman and another three people were just lying and they were enjoying. He threw around her shoulders the modest wraps they had carried, whose poverty clashed with the elegance of the ball costume. So she threw around her shoulders. So now modestly she dressed in a nice manner. Her poverty was not seen when she wore that dress, and it was that just like the ball costume. If you had seen the shows where the award functions where Aishwarya Rai and others go to foreign France and all, you find that they have long frocks. And sometimes there is somebody to even carry and go. I don't know why they sweep the whole floor and go, but that is the way it is called as elegance, looking very grand and beautiful. Hmm. She wished to hurry away in order to be noticed by the other women who were wrapping themselves in rich furs. You can see the picture of the lady wearing the fur cloth, means it's to keep yourself warm. They have, you have to have this type of dress. Hmm. Loisel detained, stopped. Wait, said she. He, I'm going to call a cab. She told, I'll call a cab. He told, he'll call a cab. But she would not listen. She did not listen. What did she say? And descended the steps rapidly. When they were in the street, they found no carriage. So they just came out. She was walking very fast. Nobody should identify that she does not even have a car and she's searching for a cab. So maybe thinking that she would have walked very fast. Nothing was there. No, in the street, no carriage. Carriage means the horse carriage. No. They began to seek for one. They were searching, hailing the coachman, whom they saw at a distance. They didn't find anyone. They walked along towards the river, hopeless and shivering. Maybe it was cold and they were walking a long distance. Finally, they found one of those old carriages that one sees in Paris after nightfall. So maybe only one carriage was there, an old one. It took them as far as the door and they went wearily up to their apartment. It was all over for her, and on his part, he remembered that he would have to be in the office by 10 o'clock. Now, he wanted to be in the office by 10 o'clock. She removed the wraps from her shoulders before the glass for a final view of herself in the glory. So now he had to go to sleep and they were removing the dress. Suddenly just she cried. She cried, she uttered a cry. Uttered means attempted, expressed with shock. Her necklace was not round her neck. Loisel, already half undressed, asked, "What is the matter?" She turned around towards him excitedly. I am no longer, madam, Frostier's necklace. Oh my God, it is not there. He rose in dismay. What? How is that? It is not possible. It is not possible. And they looked in the folds of dress, all the dress, wherever you have folded, no, your frills or something like that, everywhere, in the cloak, in the pocket, here and there, nothing could be found. He asked, "You are sure you still had it when we left the minister's house?" Yes, yes, I felt it was there. When he left the house, it was there. But if you had lost it in the street, we should have heard it fall. When we are walking, maybe you could have heard the sound. Maybe it is in the cab. Cab means the carriage they came. Yes, it is possible. Did you take the number? No. Did you notice what it is? No. Then they looked at each other, find other utterly cast down. Finally, Loisel dressed himself again. "I am going," he said, "over the track where we went on foot to see if I can find it." And he went. She remained in her evening gown and not having the force to go to bed. Now she sat quietly in her evening gown and he went down to track. Now, towards 7 o'clock, her husband returned in the morning. He found nothing. He went to the police and to the cab officers and put an advertisement in the newspaper offering a reward. All that he did. When everywhere he searched, finally he gave an advertisement in the paper also, saying that if somebody finds this, you will be rewarded. All that, after all that he came, she waited all day in the state of bewilderment before this frightful disaster. Loisel returned in the evening. He came in the evening. His face was so pale. Pale means very sad. He had discovered nothing. He did not find anything. He said, "Write to your friend that you have broken the clasp of the necklace and that you will have it repaired. That will give us some time." So now you write a letter to her. So she sat down and wrote a letter. Now, after writing, she wrote as he dictated. At the end of a week, they had lost all hope, and Loisel, older by 5 years, declared, "We must replace this jewel." He told, "Already 1 week is over. No chance. Let us replace this jewel. We should buy a new one and give." Replace means buy a new one and give. In a shop of Palais Royal, they found a chaplet of diamonds which seemed to them exactly like the one they had lost. So they went to one shop and they found it was valued at 40,000 francs. You see, they were not having even 400 francs. Somehow poor fellow saved the money, and now that 40,000 francs, 40,000 francs, they could get it for 36,000. 36,000. Okay, 4,000 less. Loisel possessed 18,000 francs which his father had left him. So his father had given him some money or property which was worth 18,000 francs. He took that, then he borrowed the rest. He made ruinous promises, took money from usurers, the whole race of lenders. Means even for high interest rates also he took money. Then they went to the they got the new necklace, depositing the merchant's counter 36,000 francs, and they purchased them. When Madame Loisel took back the jewels to Madame Cloister, the latter said to her in a frigid tone, "You should have returned them to me sooner, for I might have needed them." It was late by 1 week. So naturally her tone will be different. So she was in a freezing warm voice, she spoke. Madame Frostier did not open the jewel box as Madame Loisel feared she would. So she did not open the jewel box. If she opens, maybe she might be knowing. What would she think if she should perceive the substitution? Oh, I have substitution. Substitution means another one. So what will she think? I have not given her original one. What should she say? Would she take her for a robber? Will she think she's a robber because she belonged to a poor family? All this came to her mind. Madame Loisel now knew the horrible life of necessity. She did her part, however, completely heroically. Now, life of necessity, only necessary things we require in life. We should not be very ambitious, which we cannot afford to, unnecessarily landing into trouble. It was necessary to pay this frightful debt. She would pay it. Then she would pay it. She would pay it. Now, what happened? All the things she would pay it. Then they sent away the maid. They changed their lodgings. They rented some rooms in an attic. So what happened? All the things were sold. They had to live a still poor life. She learned the odious work of a kitchen. She washed the dishes. She washed the soiled linen, their clothes and dishcloths, which she hung on the line of dry. She took down the refuse to the street each morning and brought up. Hmm. Huh. 5 minutes before you will be collected. You will connect, open. Yes. Open. Brought up. Brought up the water, stopping at each landing to catch her breath. See, she was in a better status, not that poor, very poor, but still you find that she had to give even those things. It was so difficult for her. Nothing. Now, whatever, even the maid can come, that much money also she had to save. Then she had to sell all the household goods, and now all the work she did. So, what happened? She only went to the grocery shop, she only went to the butcher shop, she only went to the fruit seller shop, and taking the basket in her arm and haggling. Haggling means she was bargaining every bit because she knew the value of money. So it was really miserable for her to lead a life. The husband worked evenings, putting the books of some merchants in order. Nights, so he also had to work extra. Nights he often copying, so night also he had to work. And this life lasted for how many years? 10 years. Both husband and wife worked extra. They saved money. At the end of the 10 years, they had resorted all. Somehow they cleared all the debts. Madame Loisel seemed now old now. She had become a strong, hard woman, the crude woman of the poor household. Very crude means very strong because so much of work she did and she became very crude. Her hair badly dressed. Dressed means she was not able to take care of. You see, it's so important for all ladies to maintain their beauty. You have to oil your hair, you have to wash it with shampoo, you have to put conditioner, and then facial you have to do. Only then you look good. Otherwise, you look in a very poor way. Her hair badly dressed, her skirts away, her hands red. She spoke in a loud tone, very loud tone she spoke, and washed the floors with large pails of water. All the hard work she did, but sometimes when her husband was at the office, she would seat herself before the window. She'll just quietly sit in the window and think of the evening party of former times. She'll think, what a wonderful party it was, wonderful ball it was, and she was so beautiful, so flattered, means pleased. Flattered again, pleased. All of them were saying, you're so beautiful, you look very nice. It was actually a temporary pleasure that she had, all that she used to recollect. How would it have been if she had not lost the necklace? How would it have been? Who knows? If she had not lost the necklace. How singular is life and how full of changes, how small a thing will ruin or save one. Ruin, how it will ruin one, how it will save one, how can it be so? So one Sunday, now we are coming to the end of the lesson. One Sunday, she was taking a walk in the Champs Elysees, that is a street, to rid herself of the cares of the week. She suddenly perceived a woman walking with a child. She saw a woman. It was Madame Forestier, still young, still pretty, still attractive. Madame Loisel was affected. Should I speak to her? Should I speak or should I not speak? And now that she had paid, she would tell her all. Now almost all the debts is over. Now she can say why? Why not now? I will speak to her. She approached her. Good morning, Jenny. Her friend did not recognize her and was astonished to be so familiarity addressed by the woman by this common personage. She stammered, but madam, I do not know. I do not know. What I do not know? You must be mistaken. No, I am Matilda Loisel. Her friend uttered a cry of astonishment. Oh, my poor Matilda, how have you changed? What happened to you? Why do you look so old and yes, I have had some hard days. I had hard days. Since then, I saw you and miserable ones. I've had a miserable time after saying, because of me? You see, you came and met me and then you were miserable. How can it be so? You recall the diamond necklace that you loaned me to wear to the minister's ball? Yes, of course, I remember. Well, I lost it. Oh, no, you have returned it already to me. Then Madame Loisel said, I returned to you the exactly like it. Like it means just like that, another one. And it has been taken us 10 years to pay for us. 10 years. Oh, 10 years it took to pay for us. You can understand that it was not so easy for us because we come from a poor family. But it finished and I'm decently content. Anyway, I have cleared all the debts. Now I am feeling comfortable. I'm content. Oh, Madam Foster stopped short. She said, you say that you bought a diamond necklace to replace mine. You bought a diamond one. Yes, you did not perceive it? Then they were just alike. Oh, you didn't find it. You didn't discover that it was a different one. Oh, it was just like the same. And she smiled with proud and simple joy. Madame Forestier was touched and took both her hands and she replied, Madame Forestier was so happy. She told, oh, my poor Matilda, mine was false. It was a duplicate one. Then they were not worth 500 francs. Oh, you spent 40,000 francs and they were not even 500 francs. My God, what a life it is. Now we have come to the the sorry end of the lesson and we have to stop. Yes.